Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to take a more specific view of the Griffin Armament Dual-Lok 7 and the Dead Air Sandman-S. So head-to-head comparison, let's look at these guys. Alright, so first off I'm going to say this. Well, first off, let's get disclaimers out of the way. I didn't pay for either one of these. This is the first suppressor that I won at one of the tactical games, so that was cool, so I didn't pay for that, kind of by entry and stuff, but no, I won that one. And then this one, the Griffin Armament Dual-Lok 7, that was given to me for review and stuff by Griffin Armament. So, I didn't pay for either one of these, whatever, so I guess this whole thing's null and void according to some people. But that's okay, we're going to move on. The better comparison, and I'll say this up front too, the better comparison would be the Sandman-S versus the HRT 762. I do not have an HRT 762, and the reason being that would be a better comparison is the Dual-Lok series is a tubeless design. So it's going to have more internal volume, and it is not rated as high as far as durability and just bomb-proofness as the HRT series. That's my understanding of it. I hope I didn't put my foot in my mouth or whatever, but that's my understanding of it. The definite thing is the Dual-Lok series is a tubeless design. You can tell by the exposed welds, right? You can tell. The Sandman series is a tubed design, right? There are baffles inside this tube on the outside, which makes this potentially more durable, but it also decreases the internal volume. So it would be better to compare those two cans, but I don't have those two cans. So the two cans that I have, the two cans that I have, these are the closest things in Dead Air and Griffin Armament that I have to compare head to head. And I really think a lot of people that would be considering one of these cans would also consider the other can, right? So hopefully this will help somebody out. If it does, let me know. And if I really need to get an HRT 762, maybe we can do that. Maybe we'll see. But let's move on with this comparison and let's get into this stuff. Basically, what we're gonna do, I got real technical. I wrote some data points for you guys as far as specs and kind of compare those together. But then we're gonna go to the range. We're gonna look at these two as best head to head as we can. On the same hosts. I have some older footage of shooting these on different hosts that I'm going to throw in there too. You'll be able to tell the difference. You should be able to tell the difference. But we'll try to keep everything in line as best we can and everything is comparable as best we can. And just compare these the best that you can through the audio, and I know that that's very, very hard, but also look for flash. That's something you guys can see that at the time of shooting the videos, I can't see the flash. I'm not in front of the gun. So comparing the flash, and on that point, I installed the flash hider front cap on the Sandman. I don't think they generally come with that. It's just a regular flat front cap that comes on these, but this has the flash hider because the Griffin Armament Dual-Lok 7, it has an integrated flash front cap. All right, so I tried to even things out the best that I can. As far as specs, comparing these two, I'll mention this later in the video that, you know, a lot of this is going to come down to the weight and what you actually, what you need out of the suppressors. The Sandman-S has a weight, or my scales weigh this. I don't know about, I didn't just want to go, copy paste off of websites and stuff. I wanted to actually weigh these and see what they're actually weighing for me. All right, so my Sandman-S weighs 1 pound, 1.8 ounces. The Dual-Lok 7 weighs 13.8 ounces. The diameter of the Sandman-S is 1.5 inches, and that's the exact same on the Dual-Lok 7, 1.5 inches. The length of the Sandman-S is 7 inches. The length of the Dual-Lok 7 is 7.5 inches. There's a length difference, obviously. Diameter difference is no difference, but the length difference is there. I could have put the e-brake on the end of the Sandman, and that might have been a better thing to do in hindsight. Tons of things I could have done different in hindsight, but that would have pushed the Sandman longer than the Dual-Lok 7. So as far as specs go, that's your comparison, right? The Sandman's heavier. He's also a tubed can. He's not tubeless, right? Dual-Lok 7 is tubeless, so it makes sense that he would be lighter. Even though he is longer, it makes sense that he would be a little bit lighter. So that's your specs data stuff. for what it's worth. I think the big key things that people would want to know is that diameter, since they're both the same. If you're looking at putting these things under a handguard, like say on this guy right here, this little 300 blackout, if one can fit under your handguard, then the other can fit under your handguard, right? They're both 1.5 inch diameter cans, that's a big thing that most people look at, and where it's a big thing that I look at, because I do stick cans under handguards from time to time. Let's go to the range to get to the fun part, and see what we think about flash, what you pick up as far as what you see, back pressure, because you can see it's relatively cool, right? Cool weather, right? So you can see a lot of the gases and stuff come out of there. So check that out. Check out the flash, and do your best to see which one sounds best to you, and we'll come back in here and wrap it up. Griffin Armament Dual-Lok 7, 5 rounds. All right, Sandman-S. Interesting thing, each one of those on this, for me personally, picking up, the very last round had a noticeable pop to it. Kind of like a first round pop. Each one maybe had a same buildup of pressure, buildup of gas, but that 5th round on both of these seemed to have a noticeable woof pop to it that the other rounds didn't have. Interesting. This is the 308. We're gonna do 3 rounds with this guy. This is the Dual-Lok 7. Here's the Sandman-S. Really hard to tell the difference there, to be quite honest. No significant gas to the face on either one of these. Granted, I wasn't shooting really quick. You guys know better than me as far as the actual flash that's coming out of here. That's why I angled towards the camera. I think it'd have to come down to weight. And I'm not sure which one of these weighs more right now. I'd have to put it on a scale. This guy's slightly shorter. The Sandman's slightly shorter. That one's pretty close. For me, that one's pretty close. 7.5 inch, 5.56, Dual-Lok 7. A little bit of buildup in the right ear. Just a little bit. Not terrible, just a little bit. All right, Sandman-S. Dang, that's hard to put a number on. Not a number to say which one is better, which one is worse. Dang. Very close. Dang it, they're close. For what it's worth, and I am no scientist, and this will probably make no sense, for me and my ears and this ammo in this situation, the Dual-Lok 7 sounds like its sound is going more forward. Okay? The Sandman-S sounds like there's more noise around me, but it's like a thump, woof kind of a noise. That doesn't make any sense That is not scientific, and that probably doesn't translate to anybody, but that's the best way that I can describe it. Seems like there's more noise around me, more pressure around me with the Sandman. It's not uncomfortable. And it is that whooshy kind of suppressed sound. Whereas the Dual-Lok 7 sound, I don't get the same woof. In my personal space, I feel like it's more downrange. For what it's worth, just leaving it there. All right, Sandman-S. Sounds like a broken record. I can't discern with my ears a real significant difference in those two. I really can't. I can't discern a major difference. I think it's going to have to come down to flash, and that's up to you guys. And I can go back post whenever I go and edit everything. I don't know. On this size system, on a piston system, like a 13.9, whatever this guy is, I mean, it's pleasant sounds. These work well. Both of them work well to my ears. Not extremely unpleasant. Not having major ringing in my ears. No sharpness. They seem to be fine. And fine is about as stupid general term as I could use. They seem to perform well as far as reducing back pressure and reducing volume. That's what I look for personally. That's these guys. All right, let's go wrap it up. All right, so which can would I go with if I was to go, and if I didn't have either one of these and I was going to buy it again or get it again? I would go with the Dual-Lok 7. And here's why. I don't shoot under nods. I don't do clandestine keyboard Ninja Warrior crap and stuff like that. But in viewing the footage, it was obvious to me that the Dual-Lok 7 had less flash than the Sandman-S, even though the Sandman-S does have a flash hiding front cap on it. They both did a good job, but if I was to weigh one or the other and have to come out with, which one did better, I think the Dual-Lok 7 did better. If you're talking about back pressure, I think really the Dual-Lok 7 did better again. I think really just the design of this front cap where they have these ports cut on the side here. However they did it, whatever they did, I know it's not flow-through because flow-through is a coin, patented, whatever. Some other company owns that. So a gas expulsion forward design, however you want to say that, that is happening more on the Dual-Lok 7, and I'm picking up less back pressure, whereas the Sandman-S has always had a pretty decent back pressure to it. I'm not going to say it's terrible or bad, because it's not terrible, depending on which host it is, obviously. But it did have more back pressure, which in some instances can be very handy. Some hosts, right, like 300 blackouts and different things, they need a little extra oomph, a little bit extra back pressure to cycle a system. So sometimes you need that extra back pressure. But in general, overall, if you tune your guns and stuff and set them up properly, having less back pressure is generally a better thing. The systems run a little bit cleaner and all that, all that stuff. So for me, I would end up going with the Dual-Lok for those main reasons. It sounded better in most situations. Even going back and looking on the video and everything, on the video it sounds better. In person it sounds better. Kind of like I said in the video, with that gas forward expulsion design, whatever, you do get less sound around yourself, and more. It seems like there's more sound downrange, which is fine. I don't care about downrange. I want my ears to be protected. Whereas the Sandman-S does a good job, but in my opinion and in my experience, it doesn't quite stack up to the same as the Dual-Lok 7. That's my opinion. That's my 3.5 cents so for whatever it's worth. I hope it might help somebody out there. I'm not saying the Sandman-S is a bad can. Just depending on prices, depending on availability, depending on your needs and uses. Something that the Sandman has is the chemo mount, right? Both of these have mounts that are welded on. You can't change these things out. If you have a muzzle device under a handguard, and you can't touch your locking system to lock or unlock it, then this is a very good option, because this guy just goes straight on, locks on, and you don't have to touch back here. The muzzle device would be touching back here. That's why I'm holding it. And to unattach it, you unscrew it, and it pops right off. The Dual-Lok can kind of do it. It has two locking systems, right? It has a taper mount where you unlock the ring right here, and you could lock this guy on with just the taper mount. You could do that and not lock it on, because it has two locking systems. You could do that, but that's not exactly how it's intended and designed to be used. So if you have an exposed muzzle device, this is hands down way better. The Dual-Lok system is hands down way better. But if you have a non-exposed, a hidden, covered muzzle device, it's kind of hard to beat something like the chemo system. So again, it goes back into really what is your specific intent? What are you trying to do with this? Are you trying to put this on a specific gun, a specific setup? That would obviously weigh into some, some reasons of why you might pick one over picking the other. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. I hope it actually maybe helps somebody out there. They're both great cans. They just do certain things a little bit better than the other one, and just depending on your needs, you go pick whichever one you want to get. Let me know. I would love to hear back from you guys on which one you guys would pick. What would be your specific purposes? What do you look for in a can? What do you look for? Is weight the biggest thing, or is flash the biggest thing? Noise reduction, all that stuff, gas, back pressure. What do you look for in cans, all right? That's it. Y'all be good, to be safe. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. See you.